Face here. Shoot it. Can you hit it? Excellent. In this video, we're going over August's word of the month, which is responsibility. Responsibility means I do what is needed and expected. And the hand sign we teach kids, they make an R with their fingers, and they put the R on their shoulder. Ugh, like they have a heavy weight on their shoulder. Let's be honest. Responsibility is a bit of a heavy weight, right? The older you get, the more responsible you are. But this month, what we're talking about is why we're responsible, why we need to be responsible young men and women, the benefits of responsibility, the risks of responsibility, and who's responsible around us, who is our best role model. So as we start with the why, we frame our talk about responsibility in this kind of three-sided stool. There's responsibility, there's rights, and there's privileges. Responsibility are the things that you're responsible for. Rights are the things that you inherently have a right to, that nobody can take away, not the government, not the parents, not anybody. The thing you have a right to, and the privileges, the things that you have either you have earned or somebody else earned for you. And most of the time, kids think most things are right, that they deserve it, they've earned it, they got it, nobody can take it away. But that's not true of almost anything. The first example I always give kids is brushing your teeth. If you aren't responsible to your teeth, then you lose the privilege of having teeth. They fall out, they're gone. If you are not responsible with exercise, then you lose your fitness, you lose form. If you're not responsible with your homework, then you lose the right to that aspect of your education. You still have the privilege, the right to go to school, but you lose out on the education if you don't do the homework. So first, we start with the why are we responsible? What is so important about being responsible? Then we move on to who can we watch? Who is responsible? What do responsible people do, right? Responsible people show up on time. Responsible people are honest. Responsible people make eye contact. There are many things that we can look at with mom and dad, with you, that's you, right? You are their best example of responsibility. They're with me 90 minutes to, 3 hours a week. They're with you every day, every hour of the day, practically. So you are going to be the best version, best example of responsibility. And so you can be the ones that exemplify to them being timely, starting and end on time, being prepared, having everything packed ahead of time, being honest. I know it's not always possible to be honest as a parent. Things change, and kids hopefully understand that. But by modeling that honesty, now they learn to be honest as adults as well. I want to do one little talk we did from the third week here for the Word of the Month, is showing the progression of our responsibilities and the full scale of why we want to be responsible. Let's talk about making dinner. At 2, what's a 2-year-old's responsibility with making, eating, and cleaning up after dinner? Wash their hands, stay out of the way. Maybe they can, not make a mess. Maybe they're starting to learn table manners, but they don't have a whole lot of responsibilities. When they get closer to 4 or 5, now they can help out a little bit, right? They can put their plates on maybe their plastic plates, forks and stuff on the table. Maybe they can clean up and take their plates to the sink. If they're tall enough, they can put it in the sink, or they put it next to the sink. They, at that age, could probably get a couple things for you, right? They could get some stuff from the fridge if they have a little step stool. They can still wash their hands. They could probably even clean off the table, right? There's starting to be more things a 4 or 5-year-old can do. Around 6 or 7, now they can definitely help you around the kitchen, right? They can measure some of the lighter stuff. All right, they can get the little teaspoon and scoop out the flour, whatever, the Crisco with the not Crisco. I don't cook. But they can scoop whatever out with a little teaspoon measure. Maybe at 8 or 9, they have bigger responsibilities, right? Now they can turn on the eye or turn on the oven. We're not letting them put it in yet. And they can measure bigger things. They can pour milk, or they can pour oil. They can pour whatever that we're cooking with. And now they can set up the plates, depending on the kid, right? We might even let them climb up on the counters to get the dishes down from the cupboard, because they love that, right? Kids love that kind of responsibility. Makes them feel like they're, Dangerfield or something. And they can better clear off the table. They can place everything nicely. And after dinner's over, right? At 6, 7, they can start cleaning the dishes. They can start putting it in the soapy water. They can start loading it into the dishwasher. There's lots of jobs they can do, because the goal is by the time they're a teenager, 13, 14, 15, they should be able to cook the whole meal by themselves. Now, every night, no. A fancy 5-star meal, no. But Every teenager should be able to cook pasta. Every teenager should be able to do some sort of meal. You don't want your kid to be, and this is shame, I slightly embarrassed to say this, but right, for a long time, my main source of veggies was the little eagle-eye veggie bag. I'd toss those in the microwave, they'd heat up, and that would be my dinner some days. And you want to make sure your kids are, when they are adults living on their own, managing their own household, they're not getting their food solely from a bag or a box. They are making food at home by themselves. So our goal, right, if I go back and reiterate, by the time they're teenagers, have them being able to cook a couple of simple meals. They don't have to be 5-star chefs, just a couple of simple meals. By the time they're out on their own, live in their own house, or with a spouse in their own house, being able to manage the kitchen properly for the rest of the family. So that is our word for the month, responsibility. It means I do what is needed and expected. We'll see you next time in class.